Nico.
It's Nikki.
And it's Marcia, and welcome to the LoveChat Podcast.
Well, we are back for a quick conversation, also known as a chit-chat today, focusing on Insecure, season 4, episode
Lowkey Thankful.
Yes. Lowkey Thankful. So as you guys know, we always have to kick it off with a quote. If he's right for you, he won't think you're too much.
Ain't that true?
Molly's mama.
Shout out to Molly's mama.
This was my favorite episode so far this season. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. So many. I enjoyed it
too, for sure. It moved. Okay. It moved.
Yeah.
It had a lot of moving parts, which I do like.
Did.
They packed a lot in 30 minutes.
They did. I felt like we got our 30 minutes worth this week.
Right.
Yeah.
Lowkey Thankful.
Yes. Right. So it's Thanksgiving. So the gang is doing all kind of different things. Who we gonna start with?
2 months before the block party. So they're still making sure we know this timeline.
Right. And Tiffany is still daggone pregnant.
She is still very pregnant.
Gobble gobble.
What was the song? Gobble.
She's still pregnant. Okay.
That's so crazy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This episode had so many moving parts. There were so many dynamics of relationships that we got to see this week that I am just excited for. I don't know which one I want to start with first.
I know some of our predictions.
Look, my girl Kelly and her aunties, and they are always, it's just always a mess.
Right. That was funny.
Look, are people still hand wrestling?
But I thought that was so cute how they're like now doing the Instagram thing. Basically, like they're looking at
like
what
that.
each other are doing.
But that's real because that's what we do. That's what we do
right.
with our families and stuff. We checking Instagram.
And did y'all see Trina come? They must have hit it off at the block party. Trina.
Yes. Oh, that was who that was.
I was laughing. I was like, oh Lord.
And I thought the whole Instagram thing was interesting too, because like they were each looking at other people's stories like, damn, what they got going on, or damn, what you doing? You know what I mean? It was like, oh, would I rather be there, or oh, there's just so and so doing what so and so does all the time. I thought that was really neat this time.
Yeah, like it was cute. It was cute.
And connected and seeing what your friends are doing for the holiday.
Right. So
we
Kelly was
struggle plates.
No, we did not really see any struggle plate.
We didn't see.
That would have been funny if they did somebody's struggle plate. Yeah. Oh, we did see. It wasn't really a struggle plate.
It was halfway eaten.
Tiffany showed us.
Oh,
her husband showed us the plate that was on her belly.
Her that she had fell asleep with it on her belly. Hilarious. So Issa's supposed to be going to dinner with her mom and that N-word Stanley.
Kind of stepdaddy.
They do not like Stanley.
No.
He's a project. They got
to. So many of these men. A whole nother conversation, Lord.
Oh my goodness. So they don't make it there. Well, they make it there, and Stanley then slipped in the gravy or whatever, right?
Right. They were like, "Oh no, Mama! Oh no!" They're like,
"Oh, no, that's the Stanley." They didn't even care. They didn't even care.
Whatever.
Oh, this is Stanley.
Oh my God. That was
I
so
laughed
funny.
a lot this episode. It was hilarious.
Yes. And our girl shows up. Is it Wendy Raquel? That's her name, right?
Yeah.
That's Issa's mama. Right. That was a surprise to me because I did not know that. I didn't know. I don't know. Have they ever shown Issa's mom?
You know, I don't know. That was not one that I really remembered.
I feel like it's season 1, but I can't really remember.
Okay. So that was a cute little treat, and she asked them to stay at the house, but they was like, I don't mess with grown twins.
Right.
So they did. And so her and her brother get to go, and that was cute seeing them two kind of vibing
their
for
relationship, because
Thanksgiving.
I felt like once upon a time they weren't like cool like that. They kind of had a, but this season they seem to be. But we now learn that he's in therapy. So
yes,
right, because he offered her the advice, and he was just like, basically, you don't have to change. What did he say? You don't have to change or whatever. He was encouraged. Yeah, you don't have to change who you are, which I felt like he was offering her some really good advice. And like you said, somebody who hasn't seen on the show before, so it's good that he was there, because he was basically saying, look, they can't accept me as I am.
Right. She was saying they were having that conversation over dinner, just basically saying, she was like, yeah, holidays were kind of tough. And he was like, if they were tough for you, imagine what they were like for me.
Right.
You know, you don't need to change who you are to make other people comfortable. Or whatever. Because when he started talking about the prayer, like how they were praying, like nobody specific, Lord, but the
right.
Like Lord.
So they had this
that's
nice
real. That's real.
Mexican Thanksgiving dinner,
right? Because there was a Mexican Christmas song, remember?
The Thanksgiving song.
Thanksgiving song, right? Sorry.
But it was super cute, like you said. Her brother was, you know, kind of giving her the advice. She told her brother how she had ran into Lawrence and Condola. 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 And he was like, you know, how'd you feel about that, right? And like we said it in the last episode.
Yeah. Because when Issa was at one of Condola's spots having lunch, was it?
Yeah.
And she was just watching her. Look, the story in the story, the show inside the show. What's the name of the show? And she's watching that on her computer, and Lawrence walks in, and they start. He gives her the spoiler of what's gonna happen at the end, and their banter back and forth was pretty funny,
super cute.
We mentioned that last time that they probably had inside jokes and banter.
You said that, Nikki. You did say that.
5 years. Yeah.
Yep. That other people wouldn't even know about, and they just and it just starts going.
So
but then when Ponytail shows up, Issa quickly realizes like, oh, y'all were here to meet, so I should probably just go, like, get my stuff and leave.
Yeah.
Like,
no, she was like,
leave anyway.
She said,
order for Issa.
I would have left.
No, I was order for Issa to dine in. She told them she was ordering some to-go food. That was hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have left though. They could have went and sat somewhere else out of her sight, out of her vision.
Yeah. But I guess she probably didn't want to be there and up under them, you know. And like her brother said, you know, going back to the dinner, he was like, well, how'd that make you feel? And she was like, I mean, it was cool. But then she kind of got a little honest with it, saying, you know, she felt like she had put all this into him, like you said, Kamiko, for those 5 years. And she got that struggle, Lawrence in progress.
Because when she walked out that coffee shop, her face was like,
yeah, because she definitely looked back at them and saw them hugging.
I'm telling you, that's why I put in the, that's why I was like, it cued in my mind that Fantasia song, Truth Is, I never should have let you go.
But he broke up with her because she cheated on him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my song right there.
But you can see it in her face, and then in her voice with telling her brother, you know, she feels like Condola's reaping all the benefits. When she said they were meeting for lunch, and I know he was going to pay.
Right.
Girl,
he ain't never paid for me. And but look, she probably feels the same way about that trip. Right. That trip that she was going to get to go on, that Issa wasn't going to get to go on. Issa's like, wait a minute, my investment, this is a whole work.
Well, flipping the switch a little bit, like Lawrence, he's taking her on that trip, and he and Condola are having a just casual conversation about Thanksgiving, and he's like, oh, well, I'm going here. She was like, well, I'm kind of having Friendsgiving, and he invites
himself. I was like, oh, was she not going to invite him?
No,
it didn't look like it.
Look at what she has told her friends about him, or so that girl says.
So
he had no intention. Why am I inviting you if you're the side piece?
I don't know that she told her. I didn't feel like she told her friends that. I think that's how they interpreted it. Because they kept telling her to go out and get somebody. And so, girl, the drunk friend was like, oh, I'm so glad she finally did.
But my thing is, if I'm talking to somebody, you're going to know I'm talking to somebody. If it's just somebody that is like, oh, I'm treating this like a side piece, like there has to have been something with your friends in your conversation. They know you well enough to know when you're really interested in somebody and when you're not. But for her to say to him in her drunken state, oh, we just thought y'all were hooking up, to me says that Condola, even if she is interested in him, excuse me, I call her Ponytail. If Ponytail is interested in him, she has not made that clear to her friends.
But who says she is? I don't know that she is. She wasn't going to invite him to Friendsgiving. And maybe she feels like it's too soon, just like Molly felt like it was too soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's true. That's true, Kamiko. Yeah.
She's just treading lightly. He seems good, but he might be too good to be true. She's just kind of vetting him out because she's already been hurt.
And then drunk friend also kind of spilled the tea a little bit about the ex, because she said, because when so and so left her, so it was like, oh, he left her.
Yeah.
But did Ponytail ever tell Lawrence about that? Does he know?
He knows he
knew she was divorced.
Okay.
But old girl was like, because when so and so left her, you know, it took her a while to get over that, and we've been trying to tell her to get back out there. I'm glad she finally did, you know, that kind of thing.
But then the interesting thing is Lawrence is asking her friends who are engaged about, you know, have they set a date or something like that. And she offers, they're like, they haven't found a venue, and she's like, oh, just get an art gallery, you can do whatever you want to do. And they were like, don't you want to plan the wedding? And she was like, no wedding for me. Keep me away. Far away, put me in the overflow room. So he kind of looks like, hold up.
Oh, you don't want
I'm looking for a future with you.
Yeah.
And you like, no. And then compounded by the drunk friend.
Yes, that's a lot.
And the one friend that took the jab at him about his work situation, because she was like, where do you work? Yeah, she was like, where do you work? Yeah, they were very bougie. Yeah.
Because her house is very nice and bougie. I loved it.
Yes.
Me too. Except that broke sink.
Right. With that YouTube video.
Like, you got a sink. I can't fix that.
Hilarious. With that YouTube video, cracked me up.
But still, you know, I mean, I felt like at least Condola was being upfront with him. She was like, I really didn't invite you. You kind of invited yourself. And then, you know, she was like, as far as him and the whole marriage thing, I'm like, Jelani was said earlier, or Kamiko, maybe it's too soon, just like Molly situation, because it's only been a little while. It's only been what, a month or so,
months, maybe.
Like, based on what they're saying, it's been a month or two.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but
it's probably like, I'm not even there yet. I just got a divorce. Like she said, I just got divorced a year ago.
But at the same time, if you know if you know you want to be in a happy relationship, you know you want to be married, then you kind of know that.
Well,
I feel like Lawrence maybe
different places. Lawrence has had enough time. He's dated other people. He's trying to heal, and he's ready to be serious with someone. She had a marriage. Marriage is totally different. Even though him and Issa were together 5 years, they say a divorce is like a death, and it is really, really hard. So she's just probably trying to feel her way through. And plus, she was the one that was rejected. So that's a lot. I think she's trying to feel her way through. And Lawrence is nice. She likes him, but.
Well, I think even though Lawrence and Issa were not married, they were common law. Might have been together longer than Condola and her husband potentially. And so the fact that he's just ready to jump all the way out there gives me pause also, because him and Issa broke up more recently than Condola and her husband.
But Condola also kind of threw that back at him, because she was like, so if she hadn't cheated on you, would y'all still be together? And
yes.
He
would still be there. Maybe not on that couch. He'd be back in the bedroom by now, but he'd still be there.
Yeah, and that's how I feel too. And so, you know, it probably kind of made him kind of be like, dang, I ain't really think about it like that. You know what I mean? So
I think he's projecting onto Condola what he wanted with Issa. And he's just
absolutely do.
Hurry up and get to that place, because he wants to be married. He wants to have a family. And he wanted that with Issa, but now he's just trying to put somebody in that spot. And
And I'm getting a little nervous because I feel the same way, Nikki. I feel like him and Issa were headed down that path for him. Even though he hadn't gotten his stuff together, he felt like, okay, I'm going to get my stuff together. We're going to get married. We're going to have all of this, like that whole flash forward montage that we saw. Like that was going to be their thing. And to me, it's like he's just trying to jump into this thing with Condola and like take out Issa, add Condola, mix, stir, you know, same thing. And that's just not the way it's working. And I'm glad she's calling him out on those things, because the fact that something just didn't sit well with me last episode where he's like, don't tell Condola we've been talking. Like, why not tell her that y'all been texting?
Because he still has feelings for her.
Exactly.
For her. And then even at the end, when he was flipping through Instagram and looks at Issa with her brother being all happy and whatnot, and the way he looks on his face, and then he puts the little happy smiling emoji or whatever.
Smile.
It goes down in the DM.
Almost came up because she was about to respond. She stopped by.
It goes down in the DM.
To see.
Bring out the song.
So
it always
think,
goes down
and
in
then
the
Condola kind of called him out, like, y'all got y'all inside jokes, and I'm walking up on them. You know how you
see, this is
me feel.
Where Ponytail starts to become insecure.
Right. Well, and also it shows that she doesn't have the same type of sense of humor, witty banter
right.
that have. She's different. So it's
she is.
And she recognizes that that's important. Like what Nikki's saying, Condola knows that that's important.
She was like, Jay, she just didn't get it. She was like, Jay, okay.
who died? Who died?
Right.
I was like, girl. And then, so I'm going to flip it a little bit and go back to probably the most important relationship on this show, which is Molly and Issa.
Yep.
Y'all, this was a tough episode for me.
It was a tough
them.
One.
Yeah.
So I'm in the grocery store with the daggum avocado.
I was like,
avocado.
Right.
That's me. I avocado also.
Me either.
I was like,
yeah, but then it just kind of ramped up little bit till it was like, oh, whoa.
Like, you coming for me. Right.
Issa was coming for Molly. Like last time Molly was coming for Issa, this time Issa's coming for Molly.
When Molly said you were just smashing for weed and toiletries, I was like,
she was like, but hold on, weren't you just in a, cause she was, what did she say? Molly said, I'm glad you and your little, cause she asked about Condola and how's that out? Cause she told him she ran into them and how's that working out? Right. She's like, I'm glad your little throuple is working out. She was like, you and Dro had a throuple just a few months ago. I was like, ooh. Well, at least I ain't doing it for,
girl, what she said, free
Hennessy or whatever.
Toiletries and free meat or something.
Weed and I think she said weed and toiletries, and I was like,
yes. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Look, if Kelly was there, she would be like, "What's wrong?"
Exactly.
Oh my god! But I was amazed that even though they were going back and forth, they both were just like, "Okay, wait, this is too much. We're off." Like,
do we need to talk? They kind of recognize, okay, we need to have a conversation.
Which is good that they didn't let it keep going.
Right. And so they decided that we're going to talk on Thanksgiving over pie.
Mm-hmm. Issa was going to come to
Molly's parents' house.
Right.
And so after Issa and her brother, whatever, well, Issa texted her and told her, it was good. I'm running behind or whatever. Thanksgiving been a mess. And Molly texts back, "Do you, girl?" Which I took as "Do you?" You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of.
Yeah, because I think she already had an attitude. Molly already feels some type of way. She's been lying to her friend about talking to Asian Bae. She doesn't feel like her friend is supportive of her relationship with Asian Bae, like all of this stuff. And so she's probably like, you know what? I'm over you in this moment because you haven't really been there for me anyway. We're not the same. We're not clicking like we usually. So if you can't come, girl, bye. Like, that's probably what she felt like in that moment. Yeah.
She's not honest about her emotions, so you can't really fully be there for someone when you kind of halfway telling them the truth.
And I think you're right, Nikki, because I almost feel like Molly is treating Issa how she normally treats her love relationships. Like, she's not communicating. She kind of jumping out the window a little bit. Yeah. And what was funny was
popping off at the mouth.
Right. Before you even get a chance to understand, because like, she's like, "Do you, girl?" But I bet if Issa said to her, "Hey, Stanley is in the ambulance, blah, 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 blah," like, she would have understood, but you just being like, "Oh, she being whatever. So you gonna be whatever too."
Yeah.
But seeing Molly and her family and them seeing Asian Bae and crazy brother asking, "Is he crazy?
Crazy and rich?"
But it was nice to see their family dynamic, and with Molly's dad, which I had kind of forgotten about the thing until she brought it up about the dad had cheated on the mom,
and I thought she was over it. Like when
I did too.
I didn't know she was still upset about it.
Yeah,
right.
Which I get. That
obviously,
too.
She was very upset. Like, her brother had to pull her to the side, like, "Yo, what's up? You've been doing this for a while now. But then it seems like she kind of, well, after Issa finally writes her back and was like, can we do this another time or whatever? Then she said something like that. And then you see Molly kind of coming back around to her dad, and she brings him a piece of pie.
But after her brother is like, look, it happened to mama, but daddy is an N-word too. Yep. And he's a person. But the thing is that he made it right. And mama forgave him.
Messed
so
up,
you
but
need to.
That's their relationship. And that's always the weird thing about when kids get really upset with their parents. It's not the father-daughter dynamic. It's a husband-wife. He wronged her mom, not
right.
Yeah, but many daughters are protective of their mothers. I know I am. And so I remember being younger, and my mama will shake her head at this now, but it's a thing that really happens. I'm an only child. And so when things would happen, my mom was mad at my dad. I was like, okay, we mad at him.
We mad.
But as a kid, you don't see the makeup process, you don't see or understand it, and so then I'm like, I thought we weren't talking to him. What happened?
Cause you holding the grudge.
I'm holding the grudge.
Look, Kamiko's kind of like, oh, so we not mad no more? Okay. Right,
oh no, but then I would be mad at her. Like,
then
you didn't tell me we weren't mad no more.
So here's my question. Here's my question. Was it too soon for Molly to bring Asian Bae? What do y'all think about that?
My mama said it wasn't.
Yeah.
But her mama wanted grandbabies.
Yeah,
that's true too.
She ain't thinking further outside.
By Molly,
because Molly's brothers,
right? They're having the babies.
They are. You probably would a breath of fresh air. But
yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe Thanksgiving that was a little too soon.
That's
because they're just now getting to a point where they're agreeing to talk, and he's agreeing to open up to her. So I don't know that I want him all up in my family dynamic like that.
But they are exclusive.
Yeah, but they just got exclusive. Yeah. She hadn't even had enough time to tell her family that I am exclusively dating somebody.
Right. So we're looking at their exclusive. This is on. We just left Halloween, and now we're at Thanksgiving, so it ain't been that long.
2 weeks. Two solid weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
See, me personally, I wouldn't. I don't. I need to know this is solid before I start bringing somebody around my family. No.
Well, and the other thing is, I don't know which way I lay on or land on this, but it was just like her immediate family. It wasn't like a big Thanksgiving with her whole entire family. So there's a little bit of that too.
Well, that makes more to me. If we had a big family gathering, I might bring him before I bring him in an intimate.
Kamiko, girl,
we know you not.
Well, no, because to me, the core family meeting him, I think to Nikki's point, is more important. But I would want them to meet him before everybody met him.
Because, honey, you got.
But maybe not
at my uncles. It's a whole.
Girl, look, for real. For real,
honey.
I didn't just have to sit down with my daddy. He had to sit down with all of my uncles too.
Girl. Y'all see how I just went black on y'all? My little light just went off. Sorry.
We still see you,
right?
We still see you.
But I think somebody last week said about the Issa and Lawrence getting back together at the end of all of this.
Yes.
And I kind of see the writing is my light doesn't want to cooperate, so y'all, I hope you can see.
We see you.
But the writing is definitely on the wall.
Yeah,
for sure.
Really hope they don't build us up to think that this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't.
Going to happen. They're gonna have.
And then I don't want them to cheat on Condola either.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's probably gonna happen.
They're gonna have.
I feel like it's probably gonna happen next episode.
Yeah, they when she was messaging him back to his response, they either met up. She probably came over instead of seeing Molly anyway. She had time, so she probably.
Oh, because she was in
the
now
car. Now y'all speculating.
I mean,
but Nikki's good at speculating, though. Nikki's good at speculating.
I'm just saying.
She was in the car.
Probably happened.
Her brother.
They probably started watching, because they had that banter. They might have started watching the show together and fell asleep on the couch, or she could have kissed. They might have almost kissed, or they might kiss. I don't know if they had sex though, but something happened.
So
with
that, the ending was amazing with the last song.
It was.
Y'all already know.
Case of the X.
All I saw was y'all texting me like, Kamiko, I was like, y'all already know.
Like Kamiko,
I love Maya. That's my girl. And shout out to Maya and celebrating 20 years of the Fear of Flying album. It was such a great album.
Yeah, so that was so appropriate with that song going up. I was like, is she
It's
playing?
after midnight and she's on your phone.
I thought you was gonna keep going. Me and Nikki was the backup.
Are we done?
Oh, I don't know, but we was in the moment. This was me when the song came on last night. I was like,
season, what are we, 3?
Season 4, episode 3.
Season 4, episode 3. Yes, it was a wonderful episode. And it definitely, going off with Maya was on point.
Yeah.
He's always on point with the music. Always.
Shout out to Raphael Sadiq as the music director. That's why it's always so good. He's a genius.
Always so good. Always so good. So until next week, we won't know if they kissed, if they fell asleep on the couch. Well, Nikki. So now we'll have to wait till next week to find out.
We didn't even talk about Dummy Chad buying that Range Rover that he can't afford.
Oh my God.
Chad was trying to keep up with the Joneses. He said, I ain't selling no whole houses.
I can't stand Chad.
Oh, he kills me. But you know what? It's so many Chads out there, though.
So many. I got a couple of them.
So many Chads.
And so many people still trying to be Chad in the midst of a corona.
And then y'all seen what Chad was doing on Instagram, fussing with his girlfriend. Talk about, I thought that was your cousin.
That was my brother's cousin or whatever he was saying. It was crazy. Right. He's an idiot.
He always got something going on. But anyway.
Tell me what is it that she needs?
I guess he'll be moving soon.
What is it that she needs?
Right.
Did you hear about the brand new Benz that you just bought for me?
Hey, girl, that was my jam. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the LoveChat Podcast. I'd like to remind all of our listeners to please follow us on all social media platforms at the LoveChat Podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe. You can even click the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Rate and review. Until next time.
How you gonna act? How you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when she